So just walking around Brian's fish houses, having a look at the fish after the weekend. Nothing really stops here. Even the guys out yesterday for the tours for the wholesale end of the business, collecting fish, picking fish for stores, getting fish shipped out. There's a couple of guys here this morning to pick up orders and try and source some new fish. The guys are taking them around now, picking out the fish in all the different fish houses. Yeah, so all these tanks here are all individually filtered. They can be held per breeder, sizes and age and varieties and stuff like that. So it's a really good way to keep on top of the health of the fish. When they initially bring the fish in, we can set out tanks per breeder, so that if there is any issues, it's all kept isolated to that one tank, which is pretty important in the quarantine procedures. All the tanks are starting to look quite empty now at this time of the year, especially after the sales at the weekend there. Although there's still a good chunk of fish in here. Yeah, it gets pretty hot in here over the summer, even with these big extractor fans running, pulling a lot of fresh air through. I would say temperature could become a bit of an issue in here at the height of the summer. Yeah, so all these ponds are probably running, well, the majority of them are running the Evolution Aqua feed filters. Some of them are the older versions. They've been in quite a few years now. The feeds have changed a bit since then. These are slightly different ones, Alpha 1s, not too sure who makes them, or GC Tech. The Surtigan feeds. And an Axis there running in the background. An Axis over there. There's a good mix of filtration. I'm sure just as extra tanks have been added, and filtration moves on and different types of filters comes out, these things get changed as you go along. Yeah, that's one of the newer EA ones, probably the last model before they changed over to the plastic casing. And I think there's even been a change again for a different plastic now. Just walk up the Champion Koi House where all the big girls are kept. Hi, Logan. Cheers. Yeah, so this is Brian's the Champion House. 2 large ponds. I think they're probably about, I think they're 10,000 gallons each. And they're all run off feed filters, and there's a Nexus on each corner of the tank. And a backy shower on one there, you can see. And he's got the heaters and stuff on these as well for the winter. This is probably where the highest value fish would be in. The grand champion from the koi show at the weekend there, Jennifer, 88cm Dainichi Kohaku's in this pond here. I'll just stick around. I don't think you'll be able to see too much of the aeration and stuff. Yeah, I think all Andrew's fish are still in here from the koi show. They will be moving down to Long Island at some stage, but for now it makes sense just to keep them here after the show. let them get settled again. Make sure there's no issues with parasites after they're moving around, and maybe a slight change in temperatures and stuff like that. Two 30-inch feeds on each of them, plus an axis. I think these are all for sailfish on this side mostly. But definitely not a lot left in there compared to what would have been at the start of the year. Some nice big Karashi guys. A couple of really nice saggies in there that I can see. All looking very healthy. Go across into this other fish house. I think this one's called Sauna. Not 100% sure. But again, it's a lot of individual tanks. I'm not sure in the size of these tanks, but I'm sure they're probably 3,000 gallons or so at least. Mostly Tosai in here, I think, and again, bead filters and Nexus with backy showers. I think these guys are probably Nisai. It could be this year's Jumbo Tosai, I'm not 100% sure. Very low stocking in these tanks now compared to earlier in the year. It's always good to see. It means Brian's hopefully had a good summer. Making plenty of room for new stock for the autumn harvests. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get myself a couple of these transport tanks. Definitely handy for moving the fish about. I think the guys will probably start getting all the auto feeders set back up on these now after it being switched off for the Koi Fest. Fish probably haven't seen too much food in the last week or so. It's very important when you're moving that amount of fish around that you give them a few days off the feed before you start moving them, and then again a few more days after you move them back in again, just to let them settle into things again. You don't want to be adding too much bio load to the systems and to the fish themselves. The fish don't do well if you're feeding heavily and then start moving them around. They're more prone to get damaged and suffer bacterial problems and parasite problems and stuff if they've been eating a lot of food. But this is their plant area. They do a lot of work obviously in their maintenance and pond building, things like that. The customers want a lot of plants. Would love to have an area like this myself, just at the shop at the back or something, where separate all the plants out and maybe cultivate a lot of plants ourselves. Just makes it a lot better. You have access to you can control the quality of the plants and stuff a lot better yourself too. these tanks are filled with self-populating, it looks like goldfish or something of it. A lot of fry in all the tanks. A couple more holding tanks up here. I think these are maybe used for quarantine sick fish or hospital tanks. Thankfully they're all pretty empty. Now we're just coming up in the ICF, which is probably my favourite fish house on the farm. There's a Brian built all this. It's all insulated concrete blocks, shuttered concrete, and then lined. I think there's a video, I think Brian done a video on his YouTube. I'll probably put a link to it below, but it's a pretty impressive way to build a fish house. These are big ponds. I think these are probably 8 feet deep. I think this one's about 10,000 gallons maybe, could be more than that. Some really nice fish in here. I think a few of these are sold, but always lots of nice fish about here. Jim's in doing his maintenance on the tanks. I think we're just putting in separate water feeds to top up koi bowls and stuff like that, make it easy for displaying the fish when they have their wholesale customers in. Yeah. I'll be more than happy just to have this one fish house at my place. But 5 or 6 fish houses here, and he'll probably tell you himself he could probably do with more space. I'm sure they'll probably got plans for more polytunnels to go in and stuff like that over the next year. Yeah, it was one of the customers' fish were held for the show in these tanks before the weekend. They've all been drained, cleaned out and packed away. But that's one of the 48-inch Evolution Aqua K Plus bead filters. Absolute beast of a filter. I'll flick this round so you can see. I know I am a short arse, but these are absolutely massive bead filters. But definitely doing a good job in the water in these tanks. That's pretty much all the fish houses there on the video. There's just one more in here. I think this is used for plants and lilies and stuff like that. Oh, there's guys in here catching fish up. Never stops in here, even after Koi Fest. Guys straight in the next morning for their wholesale facility, bagging up fish. Landscapers in for plants and stock and stuff. Hey AJ. Hi there. How's all right? Yeah, so I think there are a lot of sold fish in these tanks that were sold over the weekend. They either need shipped out or there's guys coming to collect them. And this side with all the water lilies, oxygenators, grasses, water hyacinth and stuff like that. But it's pretty much never ending here with always somebody on the go buying. AJ, Mike, Jen, Ryan or Brian themselves doing tours with clients in looking to buy their fish or their plants. Yeah, all these tanks self-populating goldfish. Obviously the stock levels are quite far down now. We're towards the end of August, probably another 4 or 5 weeks of the season. I'm not too sure when they stop selling fish or when they'll start doing their autumn shutdowns for customers and things like that. That's pretty much it, walking around the farm here. Hopefully we'll maybe be back over soon enough, maybe for one of the autumn shipments when their stuff's coming in from Japan. It's always good to see shipments of that size coming in, and the quality of the fish that comes in is usually unbelievable. Thanks.